right, so let's go ahead and get started on number 8. All right, so this one says, for each action we perform, we can know only some of its consequences. So if we do an action, we can know only some, so at least one of its consequences. Thus, the view that in no situation can we know what action is morally right would be true if an action being morally right were the same as the action having the best consequences. That's very confusing to me. What is our conclusion, Lisa?
The conclusion is the view that in no situation can we know what action is morally right would be true if an action's being morally right were the same as actions having the best consequences.
Yes. Okay. So
Ridiculous.
we have a little bit of conditional stuff going on here on the second part where it says, the view that no situation can we know what action is morally right, that in no situation can we know what action is morally right. So we can never know, no matter the situation, if an action is morally right. If an action being morally right were the same as an action having the best consequences. So if introduced is sufficient, so if an action being morally right is the same as an action having the best consequences, then we can know, we can never, I'll say never know if something is morally right. And we're basing this off of our support that for each action we perform, we can know only some of the consequences. So why is the gap that you predicted here between the support and the conclusion, Angelica?
Sorry, I was muted. So I predicted something along the line where you have to be aware, since you have to know the best consequences, you have to know the consequences.
But why?
Sorry, the best consequences. Sorry, let me rephrase it. For you, in order for it to have the best consequences, you have to know what the consequences are to filter it.
Not, yes, add a word in there to make it even stronger. At the second part. All, yes, or not, you have to, yes, because if that were true, because right now we know that you can only know some, where if it's true that you have to know all of the consequences to know if it's best, then it would guarantee this, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's go through these. A, on some occasions we can, so far, on at least one occasion, we can come to learn that it is morally wrong to perform a certain action. Okay, cool. So on some, does that help us at all?
No.
That on some occasions we can learn? Nope. B, on some occasions we can know what action is morally right. Why is that one wrong, Brittany?
Kind of for the same reason. I mean, it's kind of weak and.
Yeah, so, okay, this is saying sometimes we can know if an action is morally right, but we're trying to say that in no situation can we know what action is morally right if. So we're trying to say, like, if this were true, then this would happen. And it's like, okay, cool. So on some occasions, you know what is morally right. That doesn't mean that this doesn't bring in the best consequences at all. D, only the immediate consequences of our actions are relevant in determining whether they're, like, once again, that doesn't bring in best of consequences. And then E, an action may, oh, that's weak, may be morally right for one particular person without being morally right for all people. All right, cool. Not necessary. C, knowing that an action has the best consequences needs to know all the consequences of that action. That's literally what we predicted. Because if that were true, then there would be no situation that we would be able to do this. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on to 50. Commentator, for a free market to function properly, each prospective buyer of an item must be able to contact a